Hey, Cowboys Nation! We know this season has been one roller coaster after another. The team is working hard to improve and push for better results, even as we face one obstacle after another. Before we dive into this jam-packed update, go ahead and hit that like button to support the channel. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any Cowboys news. Alright, let's break down the latest updates on Dak Prescott's injury, Micah Parsons' return, and the Cowboys' trade deadline decisions. Let's start with what's on everyone's mind, Dak Prescott. Our star quarterback took a tough hit when he suffered a partial hamstring tendon avulsion in last week's game. Originally, the team announced he'd be placed on injured reserve, IR. But, surprise, surprise, the Cowboys still haven't officially made the move.
Why?
Because Dak is still exploring his options. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, he's consulting with one final specialist to determine if surgery is absolutely necessary. Now, surgery would mean he's out for the season, with an estimated recovery time of 6 to 8 weeks. But Dak's doing everything he can to avoid going under the knife. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones has said Dak's preference is clear. He wants to stay on the field, if at all possible. He's going to meet with this specialist in New York next week, and if the recommendation remains the same, Dak will undergo surgery next Wednesday. If this final opinion changes things, the Cowboys might keep him off IR and leave open the possibility of an earlier return. But as it stands, we're expecting him to miss a significant chunk of the season. Either way, the team is preparing to go without Dak, and that brings us to our next point. With Dak sidelined, Cooper Rush is in line to be the Cowboys' starting quarterback. We all remember how Rush stepped up last season, going 4-1 while filling in for Dak. He's shown he can manage the game, but make no mistake, this season's offensive struggles mean that Rush will have to be more than just a game manager. The Cowboys are sitting at a 3-5 record, and every win is critical if we're going to make a push for the playoffs. Rush is solid, but we're going to need some serious efficiency on offense. And what about Trey Lance? Jerry Jones traded for the former 49ers quarterback last season, and while he hasn't had much action since joining the Cowboys, fans are wondering if now's the time to give him a shot. Jones has expressed his confidence in Lance's potential but made it clear that, for now, Cooper Rush is QB1. Lance will back up Rush, but don't be surprised if the Cowboys develop a few special packages to make use of Lance's athleticism and versatility. The Cowboys didn't make a drastic move to bring in a new quarterback or any big-name offensive weapons at the trade deadline, so for better or worse, it's on Cooper Rush and, potentially, Trey Lance to keep the team moving. The trade deadline passed with the Cowboys making just one move, acquiring second-year wide receiver Jonathan Mingo. At 3-5, some expected the Cowboys to consider selling off assets to pick up draft picks, especially with injuries piling up and our playoff chances dwindling. But Jerry Jones wanted to make one thing clear: the Cowboys haven't given up on this season. In a recent radio interview, Jones said, "We're not selling. We're buying. We're going to have it from within to get where we all want to go." So, rather than cutting ties with veteran players for picks, Dallas brought in Mingo, a young receiver with potential who can grow within the team system. Of course, Mingo isn't the instant fix to Dallas' offensive issues. He's a long-term investment rather than a quick solution. What the Cowboys have made clear is that they believe the talent needed for success is already on the roster. But the message from Jones sounds more like a challenge to the team than anything else. Fix it with what we have, and do it now. It's no secret that the Cowboys have had their fair share of struggles this season, and these challenges have come from both sides of the ball. Offensively, Dak had difficulty connecting with receivers and finding his rhythm before his injury. The offensive line has been inconsistent, which has impacted both the passing and running games. On the defensive side, we've been hit with injuries to key players like Micah Parsons and Darren Bland. Our defense, which has been a powerhouse in previous seasons, has slipped. We currently rank 31st in points allowed, 26th in yards allowed, and our turnovers, which were once our signature strength, have significantly dropped. But there's some good news. Micah Parsons is set to return after a 4-game absence. His impact on the field cannot be overstated. As one of the most dynamic defenders in the league, Parsons' presence alone can disrupt opposing offenses and lift the morale of our defense. If Parsons can return to form, it could be a game-changer for Dallas. Jerry Jones has always been one to stick to his guns. He genuinely believes in the talent and potential of this team, despite the challenges we're facing. He sees value in keeping this group together, rather than selling off assets. For Jones, The key to success lies in internal improvement. He's put his trust in head coach Mike McCarthy and the current roster to find a way to make it work. This approach might frustrate some fans who feel that Dallas should have made more aggressive moves to save the season. But Jones is taking a long-term perspective, a calculated risk in a season where every decision matters. With several crucial division games coming up, this is a bold statement from Jones, one that puts pressure on the team to rise to the occasion. So, Cowboys fans, we're heading into one of the most critical stretches of the season. Without Dak, we're leaning on Cooper Rush, Trey Lance, and the return of Micah Parsons to keep our hopes alive. It's going to take everything we've got, every bit of fight, every bit of discipline, to get through the coming weeks. The NFC East is still within reach, but it's going to be an uphill battle. For Cowboys Nation, this is a time to rally around our team, show our support, and see if we can push through this challenging season together. For the last 4 games, we've been without one of our most explosive players. Micah Parsons' ankle injury in the fourth quarter of the Cowboys' Week 4 win over the Giants sidelined him at a crucial point in the season. Since then, we've felt his absence. But now, sources close to the team have confirmed that Parsons will be back on the field this Sunday against the Eagles. Even after 4 missed games, Parsons is still leading the Cowboys in quarterback pressures with 21, and he's just 2 sacks behind DeMarcus Lawrence, who's currently leading the team with 3 sacks. Just imagine what he could have accomplished if he had stayed healthy. We all know that when Parsons is on the field, the energy changes. His explosive style of play and natural ability to read offenses make him a true game changer. This week, Parsons participated in 3 practices on a limited basis, and while he's officially listed as questionable, he's made it clear he's ready to go all in. When asked if he'd see a full load of snaps, Parsons didn't hesitate. "Once I'm playing, he said. That's just the competitor in me. I was banged up plenty of times, and I'm just like, once I'm competing, I'm competing. It's hard to restrain that. That's the Micah we know and love, competitive, fearless, and always ready to leave it all on the field." But while Parsons is eager to play as many snaps as possible, the Cowboys coaching staff will keep a close eye on his workload. Coach Mike McCarthy spoke about Parsons' competitive mindset, saying, "I would expect nothing less from Micah. He's not just an extremely talented football player. He's about as competitive an individual as I've come across in this business. And that's what makes Parsons so special. It's not just his skills but his drive that lifts up the whole team." Parsons' absence has been a major challenge for the Cowboys' defense. When he's on the field, he not only pressures quarterbacks but also makes the entire defense more unpredictable and versatile. In the first 4 games, Parsons played in 85% of the defensive snaps, recording 18 tackles, a sack, a tackle for loss, and a pass deflection. Those are numbers that, quite frankly, are hard to replace. Without him, our defensive efficiency took a hit, and the pressure on the quarterback was noticeably less effective. The good news: his return is likely to energize the defensive line and create more opportunities for guys like DeMarcus Lawrence, who's also been battling his own injury struggles. Lawrence has been dealing with a mid-foot sprain and missed the last 4 games as well. The combination of Parsons and Lawrence getting back on the field at the same time could be exactly what the Cowboys need to reset the tone for the rest of the season. The Eagles have been dominant this season, so this Sunday's game is no walk in the park. Philadelphia's offense is known for its speed and playmaking ability, and the Cowboys are going to need every bit of Parsons' talent to contain them. When Parsons is in his groove, he's a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. His return could force the Eagles' offense to change up their game plan, especially if they've been preparing to face a Parsons-less Cowboys defense. Philadelphia's offensive line is tough, but they haven't faced Parsons in full attack mode yet this season. With his ability to disrupt the backfield and the pocket, Parsons will likely draw double teams, freeing up opportunities for other Cowboys defenders to get to the quarterback. That's where we might see players like Lawrence or Osa Odigizua step up and make a big impact. And let's talk about what Parsons brings to our pass rush. If he can bring pressure on Eagles QB Jalen Hurts, we might be able to limit Hurts' mobility and force him to make quick, potentially risky decisions. That could be a game changer, and if our secondary holds up, we might see some much-needed turnovers. While Micah's competitive spirit is undeniable, the Cowboys coaching staff will likely monitor his snaps closely. Parsons himself may want to go all in, but keeping him fresh and healthy for the rest of the season is critical. We don't want to risk re-injury, especially with the playoffs still within reach. Ideally, we'd see Parsons out there for key plays while still giving him a breather to avoid overloading his ankle too soon. Right now, the Cowboys sit at a crossroads. We're aiming for a playoff push, but we need consistency and resilience on both sides of the ball. Parsons returning is a huge boost to our playoff hopes. With the team fighting to stay in playoff contention, his energy and leadership can serve as a spark for the entire squad. His presence might even give our offense a boost. Often, when a defense gets stronger, the offense follows suit with added confidence. Knowing that Parsons is back, the offense may feel less pressure to score on every drive, allowing them to focus on long, sustainable drives rather than forcing big plays. This kind of balance is essential as we get into the tougher games this season. Now, we want to know what you think. Do you believe Cooper Rush has what it takes to lead us to victory? Should Trey Lance get a shot on the field? Are you on board with Jerry Jones' decision to stick with the talent we have instead of trading for immediate help? Let us know in the comments below. We're looking forward to hearing from you. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this update, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you're always up to date with the latest Cowboys news. Thank you for being here, Cowboys Nation. Let's keep the faith and show our support as the team fights through this season. Go Cowboys!